The phone call comes through as I'm reviewing case files in my home office. I freeze when I hear my husband's voice, low and secretive, drifting from the living room. I can't keep doing this, Viv. I want out. I want a divorce. My heart stops. Divorce? After 10 years of marriage? I think of our daughter, Avery, just 7 years old and already struggling in school. How could Damien do this to our family? I met Damien in law school, both of us young and ambitious. It was a whirlwind romance, late nights studying together, stolen kisses between classes. We were married by graduation, ready to take on the world as a power couple. But cracks formed after Avery's birth. My demanding career clashed with Damien's desire for a traditional stay-at-home wife. I refused to give up my dreams, and resentment festered. Now, as I listen to my husband planning to leave me, fury boils in my veins. I've given everything to this marriage, to our family, and this is how he repays me? I storm into the living room, startling Damien. He quickly ends the call, but it's too late. I heard enough. Who was that? I demand, my voice shaking with rage. Damien's face pales. No one. Just a client. Don't lie to me, Damien. I heard you. You want a divorce? He sighs, running a hand through his hair. Scarlett, I'm sorry. I didn't want you to find out like this. Find out what? That you're leaving me? Leaving your daughter? It's not that simple. Then explain it to me, Damien, because from where I'm standing it looks like you're abandoning your family. He hesitates, and in that moment I see the truth in his eyes. There's someone else. The realization hits me like a punch to the gut. Who is she, Damien? He flinches at the accusation. Scarlett, please, can we just talk about this calmly? Calmly? You're tearing our family apart and you want me to be calm? Avery appears in the doorway, her big blue eyes wide with fear. Look, Mommy? Daddy? Why are you yelling? My heart breaks at the sight of her. I force a smile, trying to shield her from the ugliness of this moment. It's okay, baby. Mommy and Daddy just need to talk. Go back to your room, okay? She hesitates, looking between us with uncertainty. Damien kneels down, opening his arms to her. Come here, princess. Everything's going to be all right. Avery runs into his embrace, and he holds her tight, his eyes meeting mine over her shoulder. There's a silent plea there, a request for forgiveness I'm not ready to give. I turn away, my mind reeling. How could I have been so blind? The late nights at the office, the secretive phone calls, the signs were all there, but I refused to see them. Well, I see them now, and I won't let Damien destroy our family without a fight. He may want a divorce, but he has no idea what he started. I'll find out who she is, this woman who thinks she can steal my husband, and I'll make them both pay for their betrayal. Damien may have shattered our vows, but I'll be the one to pick up the pieces. For Avery's sake and for my own. This isn't over. It's only the beginning. The next few weeks are a blur of juggling my high-profile case and caring for Avery. She's struggling more than ever in school, her grades slipping as she withdraws into herself. I try to be there for her, but it's hard when I'm drowning in work and my own emotional turmoil. Damien is no help. He claims he's too busy with his own cases to pitch in at home. I want to scream at him, to shake him, and demand he step up as a father. But I bite my tongue, not wanting to upset Avery further. Late one night, as I'm poring over case files, I get a call from Avery's teacher. She's concerned about Avery's recent behavior and asks if everything is okay at home. I assure her it will be, even as my stomach twists with guilt. I confront Damien the next day, begging him to take some time off work to be with Avery. He brushes me off, saying he has a big trial coming up and can't afford to miss any prep time. Something about his answer doesn't sit right with me. I've been keeping tabs on his cases, and I know he doesn't have any major trials scheduled. So, where is he spending all his time? I hire a private investigator to follow him. It's a decision I agonize over, but I need answers. If Damien is cheating on me, I deserve to know the truth. A week later, the PI sends me his report. My hands shake as I open the envelope, my heart pounding in my chest. Inside are photos of Damien entering a luxury condo building downtown, the same building where my estranged sister, Vivian, lives. Rage consumes me as the pieces fall into place. Vivian, the notorious gold digger who has left a trail of broken hearts and empty bank accounts in her wake. Of course she would set her sights on my husband. I storm over to Vivian's condo, my fury propelling me forward. She answers the door with a smirk, her eyes glinting with malice. Well, Well, if it isn't my dear sister, to what do I owe the pleasure? I push past her into the opulent living room. Cut the crap, Vivian. I know about you and Damien. She laughs, a cruel, mocking sound. Took you long enough to figure it out. I thought you were supposed to be the smart one, Scarlett. How could you do this to me? To Avery? We're family, Vivian. Family? She scoffs. You stopped being my family the day you married that pompous ass. You think you're so perfect, with your big fancy law career and your picture-perfect family. Well, guess what? I seduced your precious husband just to prove that you're not so untouchable after all. Her words hit me like a slap in the face. I want to scream, to lash out and make her feel even a fraction of the pain she's causing me. But I force myself to stay calm, to keep my composure. You may have seduced him, Vivian, but you'll never have what Damien and I have. He'll come back to me, to his family, and when he does, I'll make sure you pay for what you've done. She laughs again, the sound grating on my nerves. We'll see about that, dear sister. We'll see. I leave Vivian's condo with my head held high, even as my heart shatters inside my chest. I won't let her see me break. I won't give her that satisfaction. But as I drive home, a plan begins to form in my mind. Vivian may think she's won, but she has no idea who she's messing with. I'll bide my time, gather evidence of their affair. And when the moment is right, I'll strike. I'll make them both regret the day they betrayed me. For now, I'll play the dutiful wife, the loving mother. I'll smile and nod and pretend everything is fine, but inside, I'll be plotting my revenge. And when it comes, Damien and Vivian won't know what hit them. I spend the next few weeks playing the role of the perfect wife, all while secretly recording every conversation with Damien. I hide voice-activated recorders around the house, catching him in lie after lie about his whereabouts and his work schedule. Every time he tells me he's working late, I check the recordings and hear him whispering sweet nothings to Vivian. It takes all my self-control not to confront him, to throw the evidence in his face and watch him squirm. But I bide my time, knowing that the right moment will come. In the meantime, I focus on gathering as much evidence as possible, building an airtight case against him. It's during one of these recordings that I discover something that changes everything. I hear Damien telling Vivian that he's taken out a secret life insurance policy on me, with her as the beneficiary. My blood runs cold as the implications sink in. They're not just planning to leave me, they're planning to kill me. I feel like I'm going to be sick. How could the man I love, the father of my child, be capable of something so heinous? But I don't have time to dwell on it. I have to act fast before they can put their plan into motion. I make an appointment with my doctor, claiming to have been feeling ill. When the test results come back, I'm not surprised to find out I'm pregnant. I should be overjoyed, but all I feel is a sense of dread. How can I bring a child into this mess? I decide to keep the pregnancy a secret from Damien. He doesn't deserve to know, not after what he's done. Instead, I plan a surprise trip to visit his parents, Edward and Lily. They've always been more like family to me than my own, and I know they'll be furious when they find out what their son has done. I tell Damien that Avery and I are going on a girls' trip, a chance for some mother-daughter bonding time. He barely looks up from his phone as he mumbles his approval. When we arrive at Edward and Lily's estate, I waste no time in telling them everything. I show them the recordings, the evidence of Damien's betrayal and his murderous intentions. Edward's face turns purple with rage, while Lily dissolves into tears. They can't believe their own son could be capable of such cruelty. We'll make this right, Scarlett, Edward promises, his voice shaking with anger. We won't let him get away with this. Together, we devise a plan to secretly transfer assets into a trust fund for Avery and the unborn baby. Edward and Lily insist on supporting us financially, ensuring that we'll be taken care of no matter what happens. I feel a glimmer of hope for the first time in weeks. With Edward and Lily on my side, I know I can face whatever comes next. But that hope is short-lived. A few days later, I receive a frantic call from Lily. Scarlett, you need to come home right away. It's Damien. He's been in an accident. My heart stops. An accident? Or something more sinister? I race back home, my mind spinning with possibilities. When I arrive at the hospital, I find Damien in a coma, his body broken and bruised. The doctors say it was a hit and run, that he's lucky to be alive. But I know better. This was no accident. This was Vivian's doing, a warning shot across the bow. She's getting impatient, tired of waiting for Damien to follow through on his promise to leave me. And now she's taken matters into her own hands. As I sit by Damien's bedside watching the machines breathe for him, I make a vow to myself. I will destroy Vivian and Damien, no matter what it takes. I will make them pay for what they've done to me, to our family. And I won't rest until justice is served. Damien remains in a coma for weeks, his condition stable, but showing no signs of improvement. I spend every spare moment by his bedside, playing the role of the devoted wife, even as my anger and betrayal fester inside me. Vivian has the audacity to show up at the hospital, playing the concerned sister-in-law. I want to scratch her eyes out, to make her feel even a fraction of the pain she's caused me. But I force myself to smile and nod, to accept her fake condolences with grace. When Damien finally wakes up, he has no memory of the accident or the events leading up to it. The doctors say it's a common side effect of head trauma, that his memories may return in time. I seize the opportunity to take control of the narrative. I spin a tale of a loving, supportive wife, a woman who has been by her husband's side through thick and thin. I paint Vivian as a concerned family member, someone who has been helping out during this difficult time. Damien buys it hook, line, and sinker. He clings to me like a lifeline, apologizing for his past behavior and promising to be a better husband and father. I play along, all the while plotting my next move. With Damien out of commission, I have free rein to put my plan into action. I start by taking Avery on a surprise trip to visit Edward and Lily. I tell Damien that I need a break, that the stress of his accident has taken a toll on me. He agrees readily, too grateful for my forgiveness to question my motives. When we arrive at the estate, I waste no time in filling Edward and Lily in on the latest developments. They're shocked to hear of Damien's memory loss, but they agree that it's the perfect opportunity to get our affairs in order. We spend the next few days transferring assets and setting up trusts, all while keeping up the pretense of a happy family vacation. Avery is thrilled to spend time with her grandparents, oblivious to the machinations happening behind the scenes. It's during one of these meetings with the family lawyer that I finally break down and reveal my pregnancy. Edward and Lily are overjoyed at the news, but their happiness is tempered by the knowledge of Damien's betrayal. "We'll make sure this child is taken care of, Scarlett," Edward assures me. "No matter what happens with Damien, you and your children will always have a place in this family." I feel a rush of gratitude and relief at his words. Knowing that I have their support gives me the strength to carry on, to see my plan through to the end. Meanwhile, back at home, Damien and Vivian grow careless in their affair. They start meeting in public places, leaving a trail of evidence in their wake. I bide my time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And when it comes, I'm ready. I return home from the trip with Avery, acting as if nothing has changed. I play the role of the doting wife and mother, all while secretly recording every conversation and gathering evidence of their indiscretions. Damien, still recovering from his injuries, is too weak to put up much of a fight. He spends most of his days in bed, relying on Vivian to take care of him. It's during one of these moments of weakness that he makes a fatal mistake. He calls Vivian from our home phone, not realizing that I've tapped the line. I listen in horror as he begs her to run away with him, to leave me and Avery behind, and start a new life together. "I can't keep living this lie, Viv," he pleads. "I want to be with you, no matter what it takes." Vivian's response is cold and calculating. "And what about your wife, your daughter? Are you really ready to abandon them?" "They'll be fine," Damien insists. "Scarlett has her own money, her own career. She doesn't need me. And Avery, she's young. She'll adjust." I feel a white-hot rage building inside me at his words. How dare he dismiss us so easily, as if we're nothing more than inconvenient obstacles in his path to happiness? But I force myself to stay calm, to keep listening, because I know that this conversation is the key to my revenge. And when the time is right, I'll use it to destroy them both. A few days after my return from Edward and Lily's estate, Damien surprises me with a romantic dinner at home. He's cooked my favorite meal and even lit candles, creating an intimate atmosphere. I play along, smiling and laughing at his jokes, all while my stomach churns with disgust. I know what he's doing. He's trying to butter me up, to make me let my guard down so he can blindside me with his betrayal. But I'm one step ahead of him. I've already filed for divorce, and I have the evidence to back up my claim. All I need is for him to incriminate himself, to give me the ammunition I need to destroy him in court. As we're finishing our meal, Damien clears his throat and takes my hand. Scarlett, there's something I need to tell you. I feign concern, my heart pounding in anticipation. What is it, honey? Is everything okay? He takes a deep breath, his eyes shifting nervously. I haven't been entirely honest with you about the accident, about my recovery, about a lot of things. I wait for him to continue, my face a mask of confusion and worry. The truth is, I've been seeing someone else, for a while now, and I want a divorce. There it is. The words I've been waiting to hear, the confession that will seal his fate. I let my face crumple, tears streaming down my cheeks. What? How could you do this to me, Damien? To our family? He has the decency to look ashamed, but I can see the determination in his eyes. I'm sorry, Scarlett. I never meant to hurt you. But I can't keep living a lie. I'm in love with Vivian, and I want to be with her. I feel a surge of rage at the mention of my sister's name, but I force myself to stay calm. Vivian? My own sister? How long has this been going on? Damien shifts uncomfortably in his seat. A few months. I know it's wrong, but I can't help how I feel. I let out a bitter laugh. And what about me? What about our daughter? Are we just supposed to disappear to make room for your new life with Vivian? He has the audacity to look surprised, as if he hadn't considered the consequences of his actions. Of course not. I still want to be a part of Avery's life. And I'll make sure you're taken care of financially. I'm not a monster, Scarlett. I want to scream at him, to tell him that he's worse than a monster. He's a liar and a cheat, a man who would abandon his family for a cheap thrill. But I force myself to nod, to play the role of the devastated wife. I just don't understand how you could do this to us, Damien. I thought we were happy. He reaches out to touch my hand, but I pull away. I'm sorry, Scarlett. I never meant for things to end up like this, but I have to follow my heart. I stare at him in disbelief, my mind reeling with the enormity of his betrayal. How could I have been so blind, so naive? How could I have trusted him with my heart, with my life? But even as the pain threatens to overwhelm me, I feel a flicker of satisfaction, because I know that this is just the beginning of his downfall. I have the evidence, the recordings, and the documents that will expose him for the liar and the cheat that he is. And I have the support of his family, the people who will stand by me no matter what. Damien may think he's won, but he has no idea what's coming. I will make him pay for what he's done, for the pain he's caused me and our daughter. And when I'm finished with him, he'll be lucky if he has a penny to his name. I take a deep breath, my tears drying on my cheeks. Get out, Damien. Get out of my house and out of my life. I never want to see you again. He looks startled, as if he hadn't expected me to be so forceful. But he nods, standing up from the table. I'll have my lawyer draw up the papers. I'm sorry, Scarlett, for everything. I watch him walk out the door, my heart breaking and my anger rising in equal measure. But even as the pain threatens to consume me, I feel a flicker of hope. Because I know that this is just the beginning of my revenge. And when I'm finished, Damien and Vivian will wish they had never crossed me. The divorce papers hit Damien like a ton of bricks. He's served at work, in front of all his colleagues, the ultimate humiliation for a man who prides himself on his reputation. I watch from across the room as he opens the envelope, his face turning pale as he reads the contents. He looks up, his eyes meeting mine, and I can see the shock and anger written all over his face. But I don't flinch. I've been waiting for this moment for months, planning every detail of my revenge, and now it's finally time to watch it all unfold. Damien storms over to me, his voice low and threatening. What the hell is this, Scarlett? I thought we were going to handle this privately. I smile sweetly, my voice dripping with false sincerity. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you not want your colleagues to know about your affair with my sister? About the lies and the deceit and the betrayal? He grabs my arm, his fingers digging into my skin. You're making a mistake, Scarlett. You don't want to do this. I wrench my arm away, my eyes flashing with anger. Don't touch me. You lost that right the moment you decided to cheat on me with Vivian. He takes a step back, his eyes narrowing. This isn't over, Scarlett. I'll fight you on this. I'll make sure you don't get a penny. I laugh, the sound harsh and bitter. Go ahead and try, Damien, but I have evidence. Recordings, documents, witnesses. I have everything I need to prove what a lying, cheating scumbag you are. His face turns red, his fists clenching at his sides. You're bluffing. You don't have anything. I reach into my bag and pull out a folder, tossing it onto the table between us. See for yourself. It's all there. Every sordid detail of your affair with Vivian. He grabs the folder, flipping through the pages with shaking hands. I can see the realization dawning on his face, the knowledge that he's well and truly screwed. And that's not all, I continue, my voice cold and calm. I've also filed for full custody of Avery, and I'm petitioning the court for child support and alimony. You're going to pay for what you've done, Damien, in more ways than one. He looks up at me, his eyes wide with disbelief. You can't do this, Scarlett. You can't take my daughter away from me. I lean in close, my voice a whisper. Watch me. With that, I turn and walk away, leaving him standing there with the evidence of his betrayal in his hands. The next few weeks are a blur of legal proceedings and courtroom battles. Damien tries to paint me as a vindictive ex-wife, a woman scorned who will stop at nothing to destroy him. But I have the truth on my side. I have the recordings of his conversations with Vivian, the emails and the text messages that prove the depth of their affair. And I have the testimony of Edward and Lily, the people who know Damien better than anyone. They take the stand and tell the court about his lies, about his cruelty and his betrayal. In the end, the judge rules in my favor. I'm granted full custody of Avery, along with a generous settlement and child support payments. Damien is left with nothing. His reputation is in tatters, his career in ruins. He's a pariah in our social circle, a man who has lost everything because of his own selfish actions. But even as I savor my victory, I know that it's not enough. I want to see Damien suffer, to make him feel even a fraction of the pain he's caused me. And I know just how to do it. I wait until the dust has settled, until Damien has moved out of our house and into a dingy apartment on the other side of town, and then I make my move. I show up at his door one night, a bottle of wine in my hand and a smile on my face. He's surprised to see me, his eyes wary and suspicious. But he lets me in, his curiosity getting the better of him. We sit on his couch and drink, the tension thick between us, and then I drop the bombshell. I'm pregnant, Damien, and it's yours. He stares at me in shock, his mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. But how? We haven't... I smile, my eyes glinting with malice. Oh, I know, but you see, I've been planning this for a long time. I've been saving up your sperm, Damien, from our last few encounters before I found out about your affair. He looks horrified, his face turning a sickly shade of green. You did what? I'm having your baby, Damien, and I'm going to make sure that you pay for it. Every last penny. I stand up, smoothing down my skirt. Congratulations, Daddy. You're going to be a father again. And with that, I walk out the door, leaving him sitting there in stunned silence. The game is on. And this time, I'm going to win. The courtroom is packed on the day of the trial. Reporters line the back wall, their cameras flashing as Damien and I take our seats at opposite ends of the room. I feel a flicker of nervousness as the judge enters, but I force myself to remain calm. I know that I have the truth on my side, and I have the evidence to back it up. Damien's lawyer starts off by painting me as a gold digger, a woman who married Damien for his money and is now trying to take him for everything he's worth. But I sit quietly, my face impassive as I listen to the lies and the accusations. I know that my time will come, and when it does, I'm ready. My lawyer calls me to the stand, and I walk up to the front of the courtroom with my head held high. I take a deep breath and begin to speak, my voice steady and clear. I tell the court about Damien's affair with Vivian, about the lies and the deceit that shattered our marriage. I play the recordings of their conversations, the evidence of their betrayal. Damien's face turns white as he listens to his own words, the promises he made to my sister, and the plans they made to run away together. But I'm not finished. I tell the court about the secret life insurance policy that Damien took out on me, with Vivian as the beneficiary. I show them the documents, the proof of his murderous intentions. The courtroom erupts in gasps and murmurs, and I can see the shock and disgust on the faces of the jury. Damien's lawyer tries to object, to discredit my evidence, but it's too late. The damage is done. And then it's Vivian's turn to take the stand. She walks up to the front of the courtroom, her head held high and a smirk on her face. She's dressed in a tight red dress, her hair and makeup perfectly styled. But as she begins to speak, her confidence starts to waver. My lawyer grills her about the affair, about the plans she made with Damien to get rid of me and take my place. At first, she tries to deny it, but as the evidence mounts, as the recordings of her own voice fill the courtroom, she starts to crack. And then, in a moment of desperation, she turns on Damien. She admits to the affair, to the schemes and the lies. She tells the court that it was all Damien's idea, that he manipulated her and used her to get what he wanted. Damien's face turns red with anger, and he leaps to his feet. "You lying bitch!" he shouts, his voice echoing through the courtroom. But it's too late. The damage is done. The jury deliberates for less than an hour before they come back with their verdict. Guilty on all counts. Damien is sentenced to 10 years in prison for conspiracy to commit murder. Vivian gets 5 years for her role in the plot. And me? I get everything. The house, the cars, the bank accounts, full custody of Avery, and a generous child support settlement for the baby. I walk out of the courtroom with my head held high, my daughter's hand clasped tightly in my own. We're free now. Free from Damien's lies and his betrayal, free to start a new life together. But even as I savor my victory, I know that the scars will never fully heal. Damien may be behind bars, but the pain he caused will stay with me forever. I think back to the day we first met, to the promises we made to each other on our wedding day. "Till death do us part," he said, his eyes shining with love and devotion. But in the end, it was his own actions that tore us apart. His lies, his deceit, his ultimate betrayal. I may have won in court, but the true victory is bittersweet. Because even as I build a new life for myself and my children, I know that I'll never be able to fully trust again. Damien shattered more than just our marriage. He shattered my faith in love, in the goodness of people. But I won't let him win. I won't let his actions define me. I'll pick up the pieces and start again. I'll be the best mother I can be to Avery and the baby. And someday, maybe I'll find love again. Real love, built on honesty and trust and respect. But for now I'll focus on healing, on moving forward, one day at a time. 5 years later, I'm standing on a stage in front of a crowded ballroom, a microphone in my hand, and a smile on my face. I'm being honored for my work with a local women's shelter, for the countless hours I've spent counseling and supporting victims of domestic violence. It's a cause that's close to my heart, one that I've poured my soul into ever since the trial. Because I know firsthand the pain and the trauma that comes from being betrayed by someone you love. I glance out at the audience, my eyes scanning the sea of faces, and then I see them. Damien and Vivian, sitting in the back row, their faces tight with anger and resentment. They've been out of prison for a year now, their sentences reduced for good behavior. But their punishment is far from over. They're broke, jobless, and utterly miserable. Vivian's once perfect face is lined with wrinkles and bitterness, her hair gray and stringy. Damien is a shell of his former self, his eyes hollow and his shoulders slumped. They've lost everything, and they have no one to blame but themselves. I finish my speech to thunderous applause, and I step down from the stage to a flurry of congratulations and well wishes. And then I see her, Avery, my beautiful daughter, now a poised and confident teenager. She runs up to me and throws her arms around my neck, her eyes shining with pride. "Mom, that was amazing," she says, her voice choked with emotion. "I'm so proud of you." I hug her tightly, my heart swelling with love and gratitude. Because Avery is the reason I've fought so hard, the reason I've never given up. She's my rock, my anchor, my everything. And then I feel a tug on my skirt, and I look down to see my son, Ethan, staring up at me with adoring eyes. He's the spitting image of Damien, with his dark hair and chiseled features. But he has my heart, my strength, my resilience. I scoop him up in my arms and plant a kiss on his cheek, my eyes filling with tears. Because Ethan is the silver lining in all of this, the unexpected blessing that came out of so much pain and heartache. He's the reason I wake up every morning with hope in my heart and a smile on my face. Together, Avery, Ethan, and I make our way through the crowd, accepting hugs and congratulations from friends and colleagues, and then I feel a tap on my shoulder, and I turn to see Edward and Lily standing behind me. They've been my rock throughout all of this, the parents I never had and the grandparents my children deserve. They hug me tightly, their eyes shining with tears of joy and pride. "We're so proud of you, Scarlett," Edward says, his voice gruff with emotion. "You've come so far, and you've accomplished so much." I smile at them, my heart full to bursting, because they're right. I have come far. I've survived betrayal and heartbreak and unimaginable pain. I've fought for my children, for my career, for my own sense of self-worth. And I've won. Not just in the courtroom, but in life. I glance over at Damien and Vivian, still sitting in the back row, their faces twisted with bitterness and regret, and I feel a flicker of pity for them. Because they had everything, and they threw it all away. They had love and family and a future full of promise, and they traded it all for a cheap thrill and a moment of selfish pleasure. But I won't let their mistakes define me. I won't let their actions dictate my future. I'm stronger than that. I'm better than that. And as I stand there, surrounded by the people I love and the life I've built, I know that I've already won. The best revenge isn't making someone else suffer. It's living well, in spite of them. It's finding happiness and purpose and joy, even in the midst of pain and adversity. It's being the best version of myself and for my children. And as I look out at the sea of faces, at the people who have supported me and loved me through it all, I know that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. I'm home.